Whenever you're ready.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to All Things Raid podcast with me, your boy Wally, and your boy Supreme Overlord over here. And today, Supreme, what are we going to talk about today, man?
We're going to touch a base with a bunch of different trending topics like the new gear removal, the calendar reward quality. We're also going to do a bit of a reaction and talk about, in general, maneuvering through raid with and without experience and a bunch of different stuff like that.
All right. So it's been a minute. We've been pretty much, off the rails of our schedule, trying to do this consistently every other week. But, life happens and stuff like that pop up. But one thing for sure, one of the biggest surprises was the first ever 2-week free gear move. This was big. My team was very pleased because they were like, boy, I'm about to almost strip everything. They was ready to re-gear, reset up everything, all of that. They were saving up silver for this moment. But this was 2 weeks worth. I mean, literally, I've literally taken over someone's account just because it was literally a free gear removal, and I was able to work around that person's account just to do this.
That's quite the opportunity for you during this time for account takeovers, because that's got to be one of the biggest barriers when you do them when there isn't a token or when it's not an active event, right?
Right, because switching around gear and all that's just added of removal of silver. But yeah, it was decent. But for me, my opinion, right, when I thought to getting the first ever 2 weeks, at first I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then I thought to myself, as the days go by, I'm like, oh, I see exactly why they gave us this. This is pity. I'm calling out. This is a pity deal.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I like bring the smoke, Riley. Let him know.
Oh no, because look, this is going to our next topic. If anyone's seen the calendar, you already see the rewards. I think this is payback to say, okay, yeah, we know we screwed up on the rewards, so hey, here's 2 weeks free gear removal.
Oh man, yeah, these rewards have been that is definitely the upcoming topic for me. Because I'm in that really early phase of like I'm constantly like I feel like I'm elevating my knowledge and how effective I am at building teams and my understanding of different areas of the games. Like I still only really understand probably like 20% of the abilities, how things work, right? So I'm the ability to be able to rework things, pull all my like the first thing that I did is I pulled all the artifacts from every single account that I have, just because I wanted to have the ability whenever I got back to those accounts, the ones that I have kind of like dormant, I can just kind of like put what I've learned into practice and try to get the most out of the artifacts then. And then on my main account and then the challenge account that I've been working on, it was like a really needed rebuild, cleanse, everything. I had done a crap ton of stage 20 dragons, so I had way better artifacts in the wings. So it was beautiful. I've only gotten like half of my champions rebuilt on my main account, and all my champions rebuilt on the challenge account. But whenever the cool thing about is whenever I get to a train of thought, I was like, oh, let me try to rebuild it a little bit this way. Let me sacrifice a little bit more resilience, or let me sacrifice a little bit more accuracy. See if I can turn up more speed or something like that, or let me turn down the speed. Maybe I have enough speed, and try to increase the stats somewhere else. I'm just able to freely just kind of swap things around, which has been really nice. And because I'm a dumbass, and all the time when there isn't gear removal, I accidentally get into these like flurries of like, oh, that's going to be such an amazing build, and then I'll just start moving stuff, and before I realize I've burned like 2.5 million gold, you know what I mean, or silver, and I'm like, oh, and I'm like hurting. So it's been awesome in that way. It's crazy that it's never happened before. But now that you mention it, it does kind of feel like they threw that in there after, you know what? Yeah, like as a pity move. Like I never thought. Look,
that's how I took it. Because personally, yeah, that's how I took it. Because personally, it just, if you look at the rewards are just like people were. I'm talking about. Look, I was in one community in Discord. People were just flaming these rewards. They're like, "What is this? This is not what we got in the same way from the previous other free legendary login champions. This is atrocious. And I was like, well,
yeah, let me
for a second. Can't blame you for thinking that, because I'm like, it sort of is atrocious. But honestly, other than that, right? Other than just flaming it was a nice trade-off, definitely, for not having to waste silver as far as removing and then placing gear. That's for sure. But my only thing is, it just proves the fact, right? Most people would want gear to be removable all the time. Like, I shouldn't have to pay to remove gear. If I want to take it off, let's take it off.
Anything to begin with. Yeah, that's a big gripe that a lot of people have. And then one when it comes, like, look at this. Yesterday's reward was a 3-hour free gift removal token that only lasts 6 days. So, like, we're in the middle of a free gear removal event, right? So I know, like, I remember seeing that happen. I was like, what the frick? And then I looked at it, I was like, okay, well, the event's gonna end and I'm still gonna have like 3 days. So if I forget to or I want to re-gear, I'm like, no, that makes no sense. This token's basically gonna go to waste, and I'm gonna find a stupid reason
that's the thing. You're
only on the last day to use it.
That's all you're gonna do. You're just gonna slightly extend it so a few hours more. It's for nothing. So it's like, well, wait a minute. You throw this on top, knowing that you're gonna have it in the calendar art. What is that? What is that? Like, so it's just horrible. It's like, because I ended up getting a 1 hour free token of removal, right, from Curse City. That's 99 days worth.
So you have like an opportunity.
So this 3 days. So this 3 hours, only for 6 days. Like, come on, like,
oh man, you got to be hustling every single day to where, like, you would need a free gear removal token every 6 days.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, gosh darn.
It's just very much an abominable state of how they share this. But, look, but overall, it definitely felt good to have 2 weeks worth of free gear removal. Yeah, I just chose a shitty time to just pop it out, because honestly, I truly believe that y'all did this because of the rewards on the calendar, and it's just horrible. But speaking on that, let's move on to that, right? Let's move on to the quality of the rewards on this calendar, because Lord have mercy, that thing right there is just.
I got them up right now. It's ridiculous, bro.
It's so fine. Let me share this. It's just nightmares. Hold on. Oh, wait. Where's that? Yeah.
Like, I appreciate the sentiment, or like the but like execution was horrible. Like,
right. Let me see if this share.
A bunch of 2-piece sets.
Let me see if it's gonna share it, because it's taking a while.
260 energy, 600k total.
Let me see. Is it gonna share it?
It's doing its thing, thinking. Here, let me put this.
Okay, so for some reason it doesn't. So hold on.
Like the 100 gems.
So now it wants to pop up.
And the primal really. Can you hear me? Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, hold on. Sorry about that. Okay. Give me a moment.
But yeah, no, like when it comes
I can hear you. Yeah, no, because give me a moment.
You want me to share that so that, because I have the same screen up real quick, maybe that'll stop the lag or whatever.
All right. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it was just lagging so much on my end. Yeah, let's see if it works on yours.
There we go.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, I mean, honestly, just looking at the calendar, the only thing that I gave respectable value is the Magisteel. That is the only thing that I give respectable value. Maybe the gems. After that, everything else can go to shit.
Really? For me, the
Yeah,
thing that out of the whole thing that I grabbed any value from, like tangible value, was the champion, of course, that we're gonna get from it. The 100 gems, the primal.
I mean the
Majesty was
gems are
nice,
nice.
whatnot, but like everything else is like too little. Like, why isn't this like a every one of these sets should be like 5-piece sets? You know what I mean? Like, and they should be all 5 stars and above. Like this,
Yeah,
the first one's 5 stars. Oh, I thought it was a 4 star. Never mind. So
no,
that
it's
is
five
good.
stars.
But like, I wish this was like, like this XP boost could be something else. This Forge Hammer, this like flat energy of 130 energy. That's like essentially the same thing as one
Refill at
refill.
max.
So like what's one refill? You know what I mean? Like, it's just feels like it's just 1% of what it should have been. Like, make it
Right. So
3
like
million.
like the epic book should have definitely been a legendary book. Like we're having a legendary champion. Why is this why is there an epic book? Give me a Lego.
There should be like 2 or 3 legendary books in here. They should be like 1,000 energy. Every single set, like every artifact thing, should be at least 5 artifact pieces, not just 2. And they should all be, you know what I mean? Like these core hammers, these XPs. Like the silver should be, instead of 300K, should be 3 million silver. And like I said, like 500 split twice or some stuff like that. Maybe 200 gems. Just more. You know what I mean? Like 3 keys, 3 demon lord keys, 100 brews. You know what I mean? Something like,
yeah, because a lot of people
you
are saying
actually feel. You know what I mean? It felt like in
a
2
lot of people are
seconds.
saying that this was like really a terrible. Yeah, it was a terrible conversion. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, in a grand scheme, you add all this up. Yeah, this may look more bigger than the usual past, but then it's like, let's be real. You're getting the champion, you're getting the soul, you're getting the high end gear. It's like this is not meeting like close to the same similarities that you once gave before. So it's just very like.
Yeah. I never looked at it in that context. I was just like, for me, it was like, this is a community event, like supposed to be showing your gratitude to the community, right? Community days or whatever. And you give, like, that's why I thought it'd be a little bit more gassed up when it came to the quantity of everything. Since you are just trying to pump up the community for being loyal all this time, so it should feel different than a normal event, and right, not to match previous events and stuff like that. That's kind of rough, like you were saying.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem. Players don't care about their community. I'm willing to say it. Players don't care about the community. They don't care. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. So yeah, so just like they said before, like every single time you pass one of the shards, like whatever, they'll notify you that yeah, this is gonna be the shard. And it's like, okay, if you miss it, you can still go back and collect it. Because I remembered, I think it was my challenge account that I was on, right? I missed one day, which is actually the same shard day. And then I was able to pick it up even if I missed it. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, I'll get in the newest one. And I was like, all right.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it's just very lukewarm. It was just very, like, sad. It wasn't worth nothing. Like I said, the Magisteel for me was the best thing that was there because it's so hard to get Magisteel in the game because you only can do arena to get Magisteel, which is very much horrible.
100%. And then, like, what are your expectations for the next 2 days, 2 login days or resets? Because I'm assuming the last day is going to be the last.
I would believe. Yeah, it's pretty much the relics. That's the last day. The relic is the final big toy. 23. It can either be the last fragment, or it can be something else. Because usually, if you notice the pattern, when you see the fragment, right, just count it up. It takes 6 more days, or 7 more days from the count of the other stuff until you get the next fragment. So you're
tomorrow,
getting like 6 plots, and then you get the fragment. And then you count it again, you get another 6 plots, then you get the fragment. Then you do it again, you get another 6 plots, and then you get the fragments. So the fragment can definitely be on the 23rd. The 24th can be something over the top, whatever. I don't know what it's going to be exactly. And then 25 is just going to be the
relic.
It's just going to be what the relic overall. But yeah.
Which kind of transitions? Well, maybe a question. Do you think that this extra day might be a soul, like a 1-star soul for this champion?
No,
I know it's in the hero's path. Like a lot of the souls are through the hero's path, right? And that's kind of transition into that.
Yeah.
But like, do you think that's a chance, or do you think it's just going to be a sacred?
It could be a sacred. I mean, that's best. That'll be the next best thing that comes in there. That'll be the next best thing that comes in there. But after that, it's like, honestly, you don't really care for it. You just don't.
No high hopes at all is the final answer for sure. No, I hear you. You want me to put the hero's path up? Because that's the next, or the Titan event, or not?
All right, go ahead. So, yep, the hero's path.
What are your thoughts on this?
Like always, I mean, look, most people have been like, "Oh, that's only 1,500 points to gather. That's nothing." Then you have to think to yourself the amount of events that you have to slaughter yourself through just to get these. I mean, again, in the grand scheme of it all, if you say the calendar, okay, let's put it like this, right? If you look at the calendar and then you look at the hero's path and you put this together, does it technically outbeats everything that you got in the previous, free new login champion for the 14 days to then the next 14 days, which is ultimately 28 days, right? Does it outbeat this? Technically, yes. But the fact that from there, you had to do less amount of work amongst daily activities, and in this, you're doing event work. And I think that right there is going to be the drawback of saying, I rather had did the first 14 days just logging in, collecting, and then doing the actual everyday dailies that I have to do anyways, and then just collect the rewards. This is just atrocity.
It's wild. I don't even think this is all I've been able to complete so far, but without really focusing on this, because I've just been focusing on champion training, and so I know I missed a couple tournaments there that I should have if I wanted to be complete. So I know I'm well behind. So I'll be lucky to get to this split soul. So I might only get to here, but probably not, most likely, because how many days are left now?
4 days and 12 hours, or in this case, 5 days.
Right. So like I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna get anywhere close to the end. So this is,
I already told myself, screw this. I told myself, screw that reward. I told myself, screw that thing. It was pointless.
No doubt. I wish I could get to some, because the really good rewards are at the end. You know what I mean? Like 250 gems, XP barrel. Man, that'd been awesome to get to. Primal shard, void shard, legendary skill tome. That would have been so nice to get to. I guess this one gets 250 energy, but that's not a ton. One skill tome. I don't even think I could get to the skill tome, to be honest. But it is what it is. 4 days, 12 hours. Maybe I'll get lucky, because I'm at that point where I don't have a ton of energy right now. I have 313 that I've committed, but I'm just doing champion training right now. So, yeah. And what was the next little trending topic that we're gonna?
So with that said, let's move on. Maneuvering the early game of Raid Shadow Legends.
Yes, and a little bit of a distinction with when you, for like a brand new player like that has no background versus someone that's already gotten an account or a few accounts on the go. It's a completely different game. This is what the challenge account is, like my 6th account or something that I've ever made. And it's by far the most efficient. But all the decision making process has been completely different than the first few times that I rolled. So like, um, I'm maneuvering different things that shouldn't that like maneuvering around different things that the first time around weren't on my radar because I didn't know about them, or if I knew about them, I didn't care about it enough. You know what I mean? Like as I'm getting closer to getting six stars or 660s, I'm starting to get in that mindset or trying to identify the right time to start farming masteries for my last five guys, where I have to start basically committing everything into that. So yeah, it's kind of just a whole different game. It's so much fun.
Well, as far as just maneuvering, I mean, if I'm looking at it through my own lens of the account, I mean, definitely, it's a little bit tough because, of course, maneuvering the early game, it really all depends on where you at and what you pull, right? So, like for you, you pull the legendary. That sort of make it easy for you to not worry about fooding a whole lot of champions because the legendary is a 5-star. Whereas for me, if you don't got a legendary, then you had a harder take because you have to food a whole lot with other champions just to get to 5 stars.
To get one, yeah, to kind of help
So
progress.
it's a pretty deep hill to follow when you don't jump to 5 stars. Like that's one thing I will say. Like yes, you may not have the legendary books to fulfillingly book out a legendary, but one thing a legendary does very easily when you get one is they're automatically 5 stars. So you don't have to waste a lot of food just to boost it up to 5 stars.
Just resources. It's just it's an instant boost, like huge boost.
Right.
Because once you got that 50, it makes it easier to progress through that early stage where you're trying to decipher how to complete normal hard mode and get to stage 12-3, right? Like with my Corrado account, Corrado made it so easy. When I prepared for the Hell Hades challenge, I didn't realize I wasn't going to be able to use Corrado. So I had like 3 accounts that I played, trying to see how fast I could get to stage 12-3 with Corrado and to try to get my first 60. Because my initial game plan was with that is to get as many 60s completed and then get as high up in clan boss as I could and let everybody else that was good at that kind of rack up the points there for us. But when I didn't have the ability of that 5-star, when we only got to Gore, it was a lot harder to get there. That's why it took me like 26 hours to get to where it was taking me like 6 in my practice account. So it was quite the difference to have that 5-star.
Yeah. What else is there? And then like, you know, when it comes to like maneuvering the early game, it's also like those tough choices of like, well, where do you know, like what do you want to focus on? Because of course, some people may say, okay, well, wait a minute, we got these events. Do you invest in these events, or do you say screw the events early on and only worry about just certain parts of the game that you just need to progress in? Like as far as, do you focus on just pushing and moving only for to rank up your champions? Are you pushing in dungeons just to get gear, or however it may be? You know what I'm saying? Like how far, like where do you want to maneuver at? Because of course for me, at the start, I was like, all right, push for gear, push to build out champions, push to food champions. That was the daily rotation. Now it's sort of like, okay, I got to add, because after making the investment on building up the gem mine, and I got that fully done, now it's like, okay, I have the opportunity now to invest in 800 gems to one champion. But what else did I do? I eventually end up boosting around and say, okay, I'm going to invest on making another champion, which is my Ugo right now on that account, to 800 gems. And then now it's like, okay, I got 2 champions with 2 mastery sets. All I'm doing is waiting them for the 60, and then boom, now I got 2 champions fired up, ready to go with masteries. So now it's like, okay, at this point, now I'm like, I'm not going to invest again. If I do, I'm investing either in the training then for those champions to grow passively when I'm not around, or either I'm just going to invest straight into just recycling energy. So, you know, those things right there are just a hard, tough thing, right? But even then, right? So looking like even for my main account, right? I sort of changed my mindset of how I'm training up my champions now, because I had to ask myself, well, what is the most effective way to really build a champion, truly build? And most people tell you, oh yeah, go to stage 12-3. Yes, but no. Because now I realize this new trick now. And it's not really a new trick, but I'm saying like you have to think of it in the long terms, right? What's the point of training your champion through campaign 12-3 versus you actually just putting them in Minotaur, right? And then training them through there. Because again, the idea is you want to make sure your champion's maxed out, right? So you may as well just put them in Minnow, build them up, get the masteries done, because then the easiest thing between masteries and booking a champion most of the times is masteries. Because again, it's easy to get masteries because masteries are open every single day. Books are going to take a while. So it's like the best thing you can do for yourself is to build out the masteries for your champion. And then at least you have that ready to go. Everything else is okay. Now the last thing you need is just the books, and then you build the books off later. So I think now it's like that's how I do. It's like I'll push my champion all through Minnow, get that fully done. Once I get all the scrolls for it, then it's like, okay, I'm gonna sit it to the side. And then now it's like, okay, now I can push it to 12-3 in Brutal, or neither. I can push it if I have a 2 to 3 champion team, mostly 3, and then be able to put 2 food champions right there, or 2 of my champions that need to be, need to gain XP through them, clearing the boss, and then I get the levels, and I also get the gear. It's one or the other. Yeah. But ultimately now is like the way I'm looking at it right now, I rather just push them through, going through Minnow, getting those scrolls, and everything else. Yeah.
So right now on your challenge account, is that how you're leveling your first 560s?
Currently, no. Again, this was like,
is that for your second account, your main account, kind of like focus?
Well, yes. So I pretty much put that in my head and through the main account, because the reason why I looked at it is I've level 60 a lot of my champions, right? But I noticed amongst level 60 in them, most of them do not have their masteries done. And I'm like, well, why do that? I'm like, and I started looking and I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have maxed out these champions now at 60, like waiting for them to be 60 to do it. I should have just did it at 50, or at least start at 50, then push the masteries on them. And at least by the time I push the masteries on them, then they're done before they get to 60. Yeah. So anything beforehand. So if I know, like, even if you're 4 stars, 5 stars, before 60, like before you hit 6 stars, I would rather just push it then. Like, even if they are just 6 stars and I haven't fully maxed them out, right? Because if I max them out, then I'm just wasting time, because at that point,
they're just sitting there being not used.
Well, no, it's not just that. Like, let's say this, right? 4-star, you need a 4-star, 5, 6, however, right? But you're not fully maxed out, right? If you're a 6-star and I haven't fully maxed you out, you're still like 6-star, but you're level 1. At least it'll be better then, because again, at that point, you're still gaining some experience. So I'm like, but if I have them fully maxed at 60 and I'm going to get masteries, I'm wasting some bit of experience already by collecting none. So I'm like, maybe I'm thinking this way too far by just thinking, okay, max them out first, then get them the match. So I thought the other way around. I was like, let me just build them out. Let me just build them while they're gaining the books, gaining the scrolls. And then it's like, okay, whatever level they're at that time, I finish them off either in campaign or in dungeons if I can make that team where I can make a 3-man team or a 3-champion team with 2 extra champions gaining experience through them while they clear it the most, and then they're just getting knocked out in the meantime. So, those are things I figured out on the main account, because I was thinking to myself, what is the best way to literally build the champion as you're going? Because, of course, you want to be able to get the potions for the champion so you can ascend them, right? So, because later on, you're eventually going to get their stars if you ever get their souls. So you want to be able to say, okay, I know I got to get potions for my champion. I know I got to get the scrolls. I know I need books. There has to be a way to figure out a nice settlement to blend it all in. So then it's not like, oh, I'm doing this all at a different time, but I'm actually trying to kill, sort of like killing two birds at one stone. So that's why I'm like, now, even if you're 50, even if you're a 5-star, 4-star, 6-star, I'm just gonna run you through Minnow, get all the mastery done, because I can get that done all at the same time. And it's not a burden for me to do that, because now, because think about it, usually through campaign, you're gonna battle neither the boss 3 times in campaign runs, or neither battle it 7 times, right? As far as your dailies.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, you're really just walking away from campaign. You're really not doing nothing unless you're fooding champions. So at that point, where you would rather waste all your energy and waste all your multi battles, just switch it over to Minnow. Let them sit, put them in there, let it run, and let them beat them up, and then that gain those scrolls. Because like I told you before we got on stream, my Brogni, it only took like 3 to 4 days to collect all his masteries. So I'm
That's
like,
wild.
okay, 3 to 4 days, that's easy to achieve. So I'm like, screw it.
Yeah, because for me, I do it a little like I'm trying to get into that habit. I just don't have one champion that can solo level 15 or stage 15 of Minnow yet. So I have 3 champions that I am getting masteries for, and then 2 champions that are there to make sure the run can be completed. And then when you were saying for efficiency to have them done, I wish now I wish I knew that now, like, because I did see the Hell Hades and the Cole Red video when they talk about doing masteries and how ideally you'd want to make sure that from level 50 or 5-star on you can level them through Minotaur, because then you get the masteries done. By the time they get to 60, you'll have the masteries done and have them at level 60, right?
Right.
So then you're not so then when they complete, you're actually able to in a position to use them immediately. Unlike right now, where I have all these 60s that are 60s, but they don't have masteries. They like literally 0 masteries, or like a couple of them, right? And it's
right. So that's why I
because
wasn't impressed. Yeah.
so like everybody that's in Minnow right now are all 60s. So I'm wasting experience there. I am getting the silver and whatnot, but
Right.
yeah, like those 3 champions that I right now that are getting masteries should have been level 50 level ones. You know what I mean? Slowly going up so that I could see that progress and then know when it's going to be, instead of now when they're 60, I'm just like so impatient for the masteries that get completed so I can add them into my roster. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Because here's the thing,
so
right?
backwards.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? Because so I told you before, I got Wixwell right after getting a sharp pull, and
Yeah.
I automatically was like, "Yep, I got to 6-star this guy. I got to put him to 60 everything." And then I'm like, "Wait a minute," and I was like, "Damn, how am I gonna get?" Now I'm like, "Well, I could got him, but then I don't have the gear, because I would have put just gear on him and then just set him up with my team, and then he just goes through Minnow and just wreck things." But I'm like, "Wait a minute, I don't have the right gear for him." I'm like, "Oh, great."
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, well, the only thing I can do, and I know a lot of people said they frown on this, like, oh, don't waste gems. I'm like, you're wasting gems that you could place for energy. And I'm like, oh, well, I just said, screw it. So I just paid 800 for the CVC. And I was like, hey, look, buy the masteries, place them on them, and then, lock it in. That was it. So, and personally, that's why I'm looking at it right now. Because, like, even with some of my champions, like, I got a few champions that are 60 that don't have their masteries. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I can just sit here right now and just be like, well, I'm guessing I'm just gonna neither buy them, or I'm just gonna just, work them out. Because right now, as I speak, only 2 of my 60s, they don't have masteries, right? And that was before the idea. One of them is about to be done right now, because I just went through Minnow, I think maybe just one more, and then after that is done. But make that 3 60s. I need masteries for.
Oh, mastery. Okay, still really good, because I have 22 or 23 60s, and I only have maybe 8 fully champions that have full mastery. So I'm like, I'm so far behind. So
right, because I also have 3 6-stars in the wing because I put them in the wing because I 6-starred them, like my cohort, my ninja, and then my doom priest. I 6-starred them during the last CVC.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm just keeping them very low because I haven't put them in middle yet. So I haven't worked that out because I'm trying to get one of my other champions done. So luckily enough, I'm about to be done, cleared all this eventually, right? So yeah, I need about one more day to do this. I just put one of their masters. I put one of my champions masteries on, so I need one more day to do this. So yeah, after like the next reload session, I'll more likely have my other legendary fully mastered out. So it's like, okay, so I got 3 60s, like 3 6-star 60s up for grabs, and then I got 3 6-stars up for grabs that can go in there. And then of course I got the Valerie and then the Hellborn that I could put in there that do need it because again, like I said, I'm close and pretty much almost close and ready to do the Wixwell Clan Boss team because the only thing I need to be 6-star, the only thing I need 60 is just the Brogni. Other than that, is just like now putting on the right gear for them. So then I'm able to set them up. Other than that, I just been there was like one day I gave my time away from the strategy, and I was like, oh, I would love to get this champion because I got the Bokanos, right? So I ended up getting Bokanos. So,
a little bit of energy and stuff.
So I was like, ooh,
I get that.
I threw a little bit into Bokanos, so I was like, all right. But I was like, okay, let me not stretch away from the ideal plan here. It's like Bokanos, you gotta have to wait, my good man. So I'm over here just now, like I'm focused on just building up the clan boss team, getting that situated. So anything I do on a daily basis on my main account is neither for the clan boss team, neither if it's going in Ice Golem to get the reflex because I need to get the reflex so that it can keep recycling the skill sets back and forth every single time. So it don't take too long when I'm in the clan boss, hopefully.
Exactly. And that's a lot of different maneuvering that you got to keep in mind that you've been talking about this entire time when it comes to champion training in specific, right? And then how it's interesting how that maneuvering, like although you still have in your mind, champion training and doing events and whatnot. But like it's everybody else, like everybody has your own different things they maneuver, but it's the same kind of framework applies, right? Like if you're a complete beginner, right, like you might just be looking to maneuver through all the red dots and just so much information overload through the tutorial, and just as things become unlocked and you're just reading, okay, well now the tavern's unlocked and now this is unlocked, now this is unlocked, and you're reading and you're like trying to understand, oh, so this is how I level stuff up, and you're just trying to hone and kind of see a picture of what's going on, right? And so you're trying to maneuver, and your train of thought might be a little bit different. You might be thinking of like, I just want to play for fun, so your total focus on maneuvering through that game, through that early game, is going to be totally different than someone that has played like us, where we have a couple other accounts now, and so we're a lot more focused and goal driven right off the bat. So we have, even though we are similarly goal driven and focused, we have totally different approaches, right? And it all kind of falls back to the experience, right? Like maneuvering. One of the things that when we were talking about the topic for today, right, maneuvering between maneuvering in raid in general, with and without experience, and how getting a little bit of knowledge helps you maneuver differently, right? And so that's why for me, I'm doing much better in certain ways, but you're like got way more experience than me, so you're like playing like on a different level. So it's like it kind of shows that these kind of like framework or these kind of things you got to keep in mind when you play this game, because it is that style of game of resource management and game planning and setting goals, and then staying focused to your goals, right? Like you said, you don't want to, like when you get that new guy, right, like dumping all your resources and getting off track from your game plan is all fun and stuff, but it really kind of hinders you in the long run. So maneuvering in general is a good skill set, or be very flexible when it comes to that, because things change so fast when it comes to raid.
Yeah, it does. It really does. So yeah, because it's just been like one of the hassles. So that's why I'm like a lot of it. Because I know another pain point. Because one of my other pain points, like as far as like doing the account takeover, was this person because they're pretty much an on and off player, right? But they have a lot of great champions, right? But the other champions that they had so much of mostly of the the rubbish rares and or needed the fusion pieces. But what they did was they put the champion in as the faction guardians, and I'm like, you're not gonna benefit from these, like, because one thing you want to hate allowing garbage champions to have vacancy within your vault. You don't want that because one,
space becomes super important,
and two, they're food. Use them as such. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking to myself, like, he has so much vacancy. Like I'm talking about, he has so much food and so much vacancy. Like the moment I'm like, all right, this is all your remaining of your food. Most of the other food is in your other vault, and then of course you have the remaining champions there. I'm talking about the moment I'm like, okay, I literally crammed most of the good, useful champions I had copies of. I crammed them into the main champion. And I'm like, here, feed all your main champions to this one because you need to, because it's better to have a fully booked out champion that actually can help you progress versus just having multiples and then you're just putting them in the faction guardian. And then guess what? You don't have a lot of built champions to benefit them from. So it's like, what's the point of having the faction guardian? There is none.
That's not why until you have. Not until like the first one has all the books completed, then it makes sense to start worrying about faction guardians, right? Well, that you're kind of holding yourself back because you're kind of splitting your resources and making yourself weaker instead of just focusing and ignoring faction guardians for a while until it makes sense.
Well, yeah, that, and also because you also got to think about it too. Is like if you don't have enough of the champions beneficial to even use the boosts, then it's like it's not really useful. Two, you have to also think about it as well. It's like usually anytime you do a faction guardian, in my belief, I'm only gonna put a champion and a copy of that champion in there if I know I have one that's fully done, and two, I'm building another champion that I'm building another copy of it that's actually be useful. If it's just there, then it's like you're just keeping space, you're dead air.
It's like a level 1 3-star, like, or 4-star or 5-star, just like in there, just like you'd want both of them to be actually fully built, not just like one.
Yeah, like you're actually
model versus your actual completed one beside it.
Yeah, like I actually want to use the champion, not just let it there for vacancy just because I'm trying to get the extra boost. Like no,
it takes real estate up in the freaking in your
space. Exactly. So and it's already bad enough that you have to spend a lot of silver just to keep adding more space. So it's like, no.
Holy moly, dude. Can we talk about how freaking expensive it is to keep adding space?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like once you get to the part where you have to start spending like millions and millions, you literally have to be throwing away so much gear and accessories just to be like, to stay afloat. Other than that, you're like, where's the silver coming from? Because I'm not that rich.
Yeah, I know. Like, and then like the other option to unlock it is gems, and I'm like I'm not using gems to unlock storage gear. It's just like,
and neither am I.
So your storage is finite, right? So like once you start progressing into faction, like actually doing faction wars and building faction teams, where now you can't put them in the reserve because they have armor. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you can't
have no space. Armor. You know what I mean? Then what happens during summoning events where you have like 1,500 shards and like mystery shards, like 10, 20, whatever it is, and then you want to start pulling, but you only have like 15 open spots. So you have to like open, then go open 10, and then like go and do champion training and open up all those spots back up and shit. Like, it's so expensive, and then you're like, screw it, I'm gonna spend, it's 180,000, it's just 100. Before you know, it's like $2.5 million for 10 more slots. I'm like, bro, like, give me a break, bro.
Right. And then eventually he's like, eventually you'd be like, damn, I gotta pay all this from silver. And then you look at the gems and you'd be like, those gems starting to look pretty nice sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes when it gets so expensive, it's like, it might be the gem, might be the way.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
bro.
that's why I'm like, it's just getting uglier and uglier. I'm like, okay, this game is rigged. I'm like, screw it.
You can it comes with the territory with gotcha games, right? Like where everything is
Right.
monetized to some extent, but like as a free to play, like because we're doing this full free to play challenge as well on top of that, right? So it's like your the avenues that you have open to you aren't as pronounced, right? So like you can't just all of a sudden get frustrated and be like, you know what? I'm just gonna bite the bullet and spend X amount of dollars and buy a whole bunch of books because that way I'll go from 3 finished champions or 3 booked out champions to 7 booked out champions. You know what I mean? Like you don't have those avenues when you go free to play, right? So you have to do it the long, slow way. And these things like paying silver to open spots up like that, or just in general gems, feel punitive. You know what I mean? Like removing, like you mean to tell me I got to spend 50,000 silver to remove an artifact or switch up an artifact? You know what I mean? And sometimes like look at it, I'm like, can I destroy this? Is this an old 4-star that I don't have any use for? Then I go,
Right.
oh, but faction wars, I should probably not throw it away just yet. And it's just like, oh, 50,000 silver gone. You know what I mean? So BS. But when it comes to like maneuvering, the early game, it is a skill set that's important to kind of develop in this type of game, because if not,
Thinking
you
about,
can really fall into the habit of spending your way out of developing ways to maneuver through this stuff, right? Uh,
yeah. Okay, sorry,
where's your
my end was a little bit off. Okay, go ahead.
where I was going to also tie into and ask you whether it's your main or like this challenge account, what are your avenues, or how do you focus on farming epic books and legendary books?
So epics. Now, legendaries, I mean, let's be honest. Legendaries, they're mostly events and tournaments. I do not.
Oh, we might have lost Wally here, or he might be breaking up. We might see a reconnect here. We'll give him a
Events hard. Okay, do you heard everything I just said earlier?
no. You literally, as you started saying the beginning of you froze for a moment, and you're frozen again. Oh my gosh. Uh-oh.
Oh man, Supreme, you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah. My connection is just falling off over here, but yeah, let me try to be quick. But yeah, but in most cases, some events that are more simpler, easier, like yeah, I'll push through those. Like maybe dungeon dives, like I'll get those, and I'll just get the epic books or whatever that's in there, and I'll go cram for that. Because in most cases, what I usually do is right, I do my dailies, I wait out the reward draft, which is pretty much where the daily rewards, where the potion, the shards and all that. I'll get that free energy bottle, and then I'll get the daily free energy bottle. I'll take both of those two. I'll pour that into the regular energy that's already given in the game. And then from there, I'll just go out and set myself up to just go raid neither campaign or the dungeons, one or the other, and then I'll just let it sit there. When it expounds all the energy, what I'll do is then I'll step away from there, let it charge up, then I'll probably wait like maybe 1 to 2 hours back, and then I'll come back and then I'll just push it again consistently, keep going and going in that rotation consecutively as much as I can throughout the day. But that's how far I'm going with it. But yeah, but mostly it's been fooding. Like even when it came to like early on, I didn't really care to food the 1-stars. I was like, look, I'm gonna use the 1-stars as little mini potions to my champions, just feed them to my champions and just lose them as mini potions for experience points. But I'm like, okay, it's taking a minute to really get these damn 2-stars. So I'm like, all right, start using the 1-stars, feed them up, click them over, because when you think about now, the two, like you now can do super raids. It only really takes like about 2 runs just to max out a 1-star champion.
Yeah.
So it's like you may as well. So you're more likely to be faster feeding them, leveling them up, boom, 2-star. Then it's like, okay, next 2-star, then and roll it up again, roll it. So
For
yeah,
sure.
it just makes it much more easier.
What I've been doing with my singles has been I did basically the exact same thing that you were talking about, using only my singles to just as little mini potions. But then I started realizing that I need to get faster at making 2s and 3s. So then I started basically trying to get as many energy brews through every means possible, through uh, just everywhere that I could find, like through challenges, through missions, through clan stuff, right through the shops. And then when I have like 30 or 40 of them um like lined up or whatever, I would then just start putting them into singles, and not like making like, because you know how you can do like one energy potion and then 3 singles into one to make a one, or like to make a level 10. I wasn't even doing that. I was just like putting just the experience brew into a 1-star and then leveling it to level 9. And then I'd get a crap ton of level 9s. And then I would then take to make sure I got through all my energy brews. Once I got all my energy brews done and I was out of them, then I would start opening mystery shards, and then start putting 3 into each one of those 9s and then making 10s. And then I started basically just making 2s like that, and it was so much faster. I haven't actually gotten to the point where I was putting like doing runs with singles in my team. Only 2s and 3s. I've been 2 3s and like 2-star and above is what I've been actually putting through stage 3.
Right.
Outside of that, yeah, the energy brews have been key for me.
Yeah, I mean, I try to save on the energy brews. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll use them too, just to fast track it and max them out. But then I was like, depending on like knowing where star rank we're at, and I'm like, okay, you're gonna take this much amount of brews. I'm like, all right, let's just go take you down memory lane and just take it to campaign. But then I was like, okay, wait a minute. But I'm like, I'm looking at some of the other champions. I'm like, okay, maybe I can just speed this up. Cause like usually when I get to like 4 stars, what I do is I'll just take the 4-star and I'll put it passively inside the training den, and I'll let it grow levels through there. I'll passively pass it some brews if I ever get some more brews. So then if it tips off, like if it's like an odd number, I'll make it even. I'll give it some brews to make it even. After that, I'll just let it naturally grow on its own passively.
Okay.
So then it's like whatever. And then it's like whenever I feel like it's a good time to do it, I'll just take them out and then just farm them through campaign real quick and just push it through there. And it's like, all right, get it done.
Yeah, no
I still
doubt.
got the experience boost open. I've been keeping that thing on lock for a good time. So I'm like, just keep that thing rolling. Just keep it rolling.
For sure, yeah, because like it's so much different. Like I never had on my main account, I never valued 1-stars. I never put them through 12-3 or any kind of campaign leveling. I just always just like, it's so easy to get 2-stars and 3-stars through mystery shards and ancients just through playing the game. And you like, I've even used gems to buy ancient shards, right? So like there's one time too though, I had saved up so many ancient shards on my I had made a video about it on the Game Leap account, where it was like 92 or something like that ancient shards at the very end, after I bought 2 11 packs with gems. So I started with like 72 that I had saved up ancient shards, and so I had a crap ton of blues, so like up 3-stars and stuff that was just like food. So I never really put any value into singles, and it's not until this challenge account I noticed that once I started valuing them and actually training them up to 2-stars properly, I found that that's when I went from having 2 level 60s to now having 4, because I was able to put those to use instead of just like fooding them, or like using them as mini potions. You know what I mean? Like,
right, because
like singles, I was just like, just get rid of the singles. I need the space. I need the space. You know what I mean?
Right,
I need that's
how I was moving with it. But I was like, I'm not getting enough 2-stars. So you know what? Let's put you out of work.
Yeah.
I was like, because what I did was in my vault, right? Most of my champions I usually use, I keep in the master vault, and then the champions I don't care for, I put in the reserve. But I'm like, you know what? Nope, I have more space in the reserve. So what I did was I took all the champions that I want to use or I plan on using to the reserve, and any fusions and food I kept in the master vault. And I'm like, okay, so when I'm actually ready to use this champion to put it online, I'm gonna just put it through the main hub because I'm gonna bring it to the main hub. I only got a few champions in the main hub right now that I'm using, and then the rest of them I'm just gonna food them until there's nothing left, and then I get another set of 5 stars because I only got 2. I don't think so. I have a chicken in 5 stars right now either. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know what? Oh, now that I think about it, you know what could be a nice gift that they give us that would be worth? A feast. If they gave us a feast, that would be amazing.
Be sick if that one of those last 2 years, bro. That would make me so happy. You have no idea. Holy moly!
That would make it so much easier. Just give us a feast. Yes. If that's the last gift, that would be the best gift.
That would be you. I totally even forgot about that. I was thinking sacred would be the most logical thing. Feast was not even in my radar. That would be amazing to get on the 25th there.
I mean, especially if you're thinking to yourself, okay, look at all these rewards. They're good rewards for new players, right? Mm-hmm. At the bare minimum. So I'm like, what would be the best, greatest gift for a new player at the end of this damn calendar? A feast. You may as well take it.
Awesome. That would complete my roster on the challenge account. And it's just to be so nice to have a feast on my main account just sitting there waiting to use for the right opportune moment, because like I said, like I have it's so embarrassing, bro. And when I say like I only have like 7 or 8 champions where they're like all fully booked, fully mastered, fully ascended, right? And some sort of awakening, 1, 2, or 3 depending, right? So mostly just 1 star awakened for most of my champions, but I have like 22 or 23 actual 60s, so it's so embarrassing. I look at my guys, I'm like, oh, I look at some of the combinations that I can put together and I'm like, but they're not completed like my main. So I know that they're like, then I know they're not going to compete to what I have. Cause like there's been a couple times where like I can mostly, for the most part, I have a clean 2 key for Nightmare right now. But every once in a while, for some reason, one run like bad RNG, I'll get like 17 million on one. I'm like, oh crap. And then if I don't get like that perfect like 22 and a half or 0.8 or whatever, then I still have to get like 1 more million to unlock the last chest. So what I've been doing when I have to, because I'm not going to just leave a shot of this at the sacred on the table, right? So I'll try like a new build, right? Like with some of the champions that I don't have fully mastered, or if I do have fully mastered, I don't have fully booked, and I'll slot them in. Like I tried putting in together Zargala and Geo as my damage dealers, because right now I feel what works really, really good in my current clan boss team is the combination of the weakened and decreased defense that Fane brings, plus all the damage she brings, of course. And then with Frozen Banshee, all the poison. Oh, and then Fane with all the extra poisons, right? And then Frozen Banshee with the 2 levels of poisons that she can bring on top of the poison sensitivity. So it just brings a crap ton of damage. And then they're fully booked champions, right? Mm-hmm. And then Geo's not fully booked. He's like 80% booked. And then Zargala is fully booked. But like because they're like all my best gear is on the 5 champions that can make me get like a 2 key on Nightmare, right? So for me to really test how those 2 champions would work is if I reworked my starting 5 and took my damage champions in and then pulled everything off my champions and then rebuilt them in order and try to get those guys pumping out the similar, maybe potentially more, because with those 2, I still have the same level of I don't lose any buffs or debuffs when it comes to like decreased defense and weaken and whatnot, right? But instead with Geo, it brings in that HP burn, right? So on top of that, but when I put them unbuilt, they do like 8 million, in comparison to when because I have my 3 support champions don't change. So Apothecary, Vergus and Sabatha give me like the trio of turn meter, heals, as well as ally protection, increased defense, decrease attack, right? So all the things that I need to be able to survive Nightmare. So I can't switch any of those guys because I don't have any replacements for them. So I'm kind of locked with those guys. So the only champions that I can mess with on my main account are the damage guys. And I have like 3 different combinations of where I could potentially do way more damage than what my main team does. But no books, and they're not fully mastered yet. So it's like I wish I would have focused on doing the masteries so much further back than just, oh, a new 60. No, I have a brand new character or new champion. I got to get them to 60. You know what I mean? And I didn't care that I was using them with no books. You know what I mean? And I just keep making more. Oh, this does. Why can't I get past hard mode? Why am I only 3 keying brutal? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just like, let me sub in another unfinished champion. Let me sub in another unfinished champion. And didn't dawn on me like, dumbass, finish your champions first so that you can get good damage out. Because if not, you're just fucking painting with shit. You know what I mean? Like you're not using real paint. You're just kind of like regurgitating the same brown freaking sugar or brown water over and over again and getting nowhere. You know what I mean? Like you're not doing anything. There's zero progress. And yeah, it's just frustrating. Sorry for that rant.
No, yeah. But let's move on though. Let's move on because we're almost 2 hours in. Well, we're pretty much 2 hours in, but yeah, let's get this finished off. But is Raid fun anymore? Let's talk about it. So I think this is what you have right here.
Yeah, that's the one that I have. Let me pull it up.
All right.
Let me get through the commercial first.
Born anew in blood and fire, the Prince of
Raid was so boring.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay, let me. Okay, let's roll.
Praying today. Oh my god! For like 24 hours, I was just clicking buttons. I couldn't find any motivation at all. There was no fun. There was no fun in the game, and it was weird. It was weird to me because I love Raid. I think it's a great game, and I've been enjoying it recently. But yeah, just for the last 24 hours, I was like, this game is boring. It's doing nothing for me. And then I had a realization, and I realized exactly why I was having that feeling. And then once I had that feeling, I was able to shift my mentality over something. And I'm going to share this all with you in detail in the video. But I've found the fun again in the last 6 hours. It's actually been really enjoyable. So I know that this happens to all of us. There are times when we get in ruts where we feel like Raid becomes more of a job and less of a game.
Oh, okay. I don't know what happened to the world. I don't know why that's like that. Yeah, I do not know what happened to Supreme. Give us a moment. I need to figure out why it keeps doing this. No, it's not. I don't know why it's so big. Yeah. I don't know why I did that. Okay, give us a moment. He's coming back. Let me figure out why this does this. Consecutively, I don't know why. All right. Your mic. I hear you.
Sorry about that. I was just trying to set up in a better way. Let me rewind that like 30 seconds. Present again. All of a sudden, I was like, "Where'd my tab go?" Sorry about that, guys. Here, can you see it there now?
Yeah.
I'll rewind it like to there. Well, let's see.
And less of a game. And I'm not going to say that everybody has the same experience that I had today. I don't think that's the only type of experience that could lead you to think Raid's not fun. You know, we all play for different reasons. But maybe if I share my story, it will help some of you rediscover some of the fun in this really great game. I am Colred. This is Colred Plays Raid Shadow Legends. This story.
Yeah, can you load up the volume a little bit more? Because I can barely hear it.
the screen here, you can see that I am on my main account today, and this is the crux of this story. I have been playing the 2025 Hell Hades free-to-play challenge for the last 3 months, and I gave away my account yesterday. I did a live stream. Maybe some of you saw it. That was Monday night. And then on Tuesday, I actually handed over the account to the winner. Congratulations, by the way, Dropshot. I hope you are enjoying the account, and I hope you're going after the Fusion. If you're not, it's okay. But if you are going after the Fusion, good luck. Now, yeah, okay, so that account is gone, and I was down to one account, which I had been looking forward to, because there are so many things that we have to do in game every day, especially as free-to-play players, right? We've got all of these daily quests that we've got to run. We've got all of these advanced quests that we've got to run. If you're running a Fusion, running Fusions on 2 accounts or 3 accounts, like some of you do, or 4 accounts, it's a headache, right? You got to do all that. You've got to do all of your arena battles. You got to do your live arena battles, and doing live arena battles on 2 accounts, that's really a time suck. This was one of the biggest time sucks. It was enjoyable, by the way. I like live arena. I've actually learned to enjoy it even more recently. And if you don't like live arena, then that's a different issue. But I was running live arena on my challenge account because I wanted to get those area bonuses. I wanted to get the extra gear, right? I wanted to get this chest every day. I was going for my chest every day. I was trying to get as many of these chests as I could to get extra good gear and resources. I wanted this 50 energy every day. And so I was doing all of that stuff on my challenge account. I was doing all faction crypts on my challenge account. I was doing all faction crypts on my main account. But here's the thing. This was the difference. It took much longer on my challenge account to do all of these things because I didn't have solutions that were perfectly set up. I didn't have speed tuned things. I didn't have OP champs. I didn't have crazy builds. I didn't have a huge roster. So everything that I did on the challenge account took careful thought and consideration. And the 99% of the stuff that I do on my main account, especially when I'm in maintenance mode, right? When most of my focus and time has to go into the challenge account, what I do here is just click buttons. That's all I do. I just come here and I say, okay, what thing do I have to do? I have to summon 3 champions. Let's go here, hit a 10 pull. I don't even do the single pulls because I don't have the time to do the single pulls. Sometimes I just hit escape to just get out of it. And then, okay. And then I go, I click on that and I just go here. It's like, what's the next one? I got to, increase champions levels. Okay. I just pick a random, 2-star champion and I put, 3 champions on them. Okay. We got that done. Click on this one, go to this one. I've got to fight classic arena. Okay. All right, here's a single thing. And I just do, and that's what I do for an hour and a half every day on my main account, right? It's like literally just click buttons as fast as I can to move to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. But on the challenge account, that wasn't possible. I couldn't do that for arena. Like I had to sit here in the screen and look and contemplate which are the teams that I might be able to beat. Is it only the one-man defense? Or maybe I can pick off this Wukong team. Maybe that's not that fast, or maybe it's not that hard, right? Or maybe I can pick up, well, I can't pick off this team, but maybe I can pick off a team. But then I probably had to manual the fight. So rather than just clicking full auto, I would sit here and I would manual the fight. And I got to be honest, I like the puzzle solving aspect of Raid. That's what I enjoy. And the nice thing about Arena, as broken and messed up and sloppy as it is sometimes, is that it's always a new puzzle, right? Like each person here has created a puzzle for me, and I can go through them and just click them if I know my solution is going to beat them. Or if it's a tough puzzle for me, I can sit there and contemplate it and work it out, and that's fun. That's more fun. So I was having all of this fun on my challenge account. And maybe the second part of the equation is that when I beat the arena team, when I beat the faction crypt, level or whatever, there was also that emotional reward, that return on the investment, that I did something hard and it paid off and it improved my account. Every day it felt like there was improvement. Sometimes the improvement was minuscule. Sometimes the improvement was going into the forge and seeing I had 7, 5 and 6 star perception pieces I could forge that day because I had been in the faction crypt. And I'd roll, I'd pull the 7 of them, I'd forge the 7 of them, and 3 of them would be worth rolling, and I'd roll them, and 1 of them would actually become a piece that I could put on a champion. And all of a sudden it was like, well, yeah, I just improved my account because that one piece of gear was meaningful. Instead of when I look at, my main account, where not only am I completely full on artifacts, 1,592 out of 1,600 artifacts, but if I go into, my mailbox, I've got 336 slots filled here out of 400, and most of that is with gear that won't fit into my, my artifact storage. So yeah, I've got to do a big gear cleanse. Obviously, after 3 months of basically just ignoring my main account, I have to do a massive gear cleanse. Of course I do. I'm glad I did one right before I started the challenge, because I had cleared out my entire mailbox and I was down to 50, full spots. And so it's allowed me to not have to do it over these past 3 months, but I got 3 months of catch up to play here. So when I started playing today, that's all I did. I just came in here and obviously the server has reset, but before the server reset, I just went in here. I just clicked things. I should probably run a clan boss right now. And here's the thing. So I have Ultra Nightmare. I've got 462 million damage on a 1 key full auto quick battle here. And if I want to do this one, what I usually do is I just assume that I'm going to have to do a rare champion team. So I usually come in here and I have a rare champion team on Nightmare. And I did that, and that's 128 million full auto, quick battle. And so now I just have to wait for the key to show up for Brutal. Yep. Okay. Now I've got my key, and I'm just going to run and this is how much investment I have to put in to clearing the top 3 difficulties of Clan Boss every day. It takes a grand total of about 45 seconds. And most of it's waiting for the quick battle to process, right? Just click, change the team, click, done. That's not fun. That's not fun. That is not fun. It's not.
I think kind of that's probably the gist of what he kind of goes in, and he goes a little bit more in depth on that. And so essentially the dichotomy from the challenge account is, for the TLDR, is that there's just so many things that you have to kind of think about, because you have such a small amount of champions, usable champions, workable champion solutions. So it's you're constantly working, and it's engaging and fun, unlike your main account. I'm starting to feel a little bit, maybe not like that, but to where it's a point where I understand where he's coming from, because all I'm doing is Minotaur and leveling. I'm sacrificing, not doing a ton of outside of Dragon Tournament. I'm not doing any other tournaments or events that don't correlate with champion training or Dragon Tournament. And then all my energy regen has been going into Minotaur, because like I said, I have 7 out of 22. So I have another 13 or 14 champions that I have to get through Minotaur. And so that's how I feel on the main account. I just basically, in the morning, I wake up, I make sure to get 2 of my keys in as fast as possible, so that I'm regenning 2, so I can try to get 4 keys on that. And then to really get one not really meaningful playtime, is just wake up, at reset, I do all my stuff to get all my advanced quests done and my dailies done. And then it's just, okay, dump into Minotaur. So I have that on my laptop, and I'm really just having fun on the challenge account, testing things, experimenting things. Like today, it hit me. I was like, holy moly, I have an opportunity, because I just pulled Doom Screech, where I can actually bring in increased defense, which is a thing that my Clan Boss team is lacking. Excuse me. So thank you. So it's now I have my current Clan Boss team, then I have a future team that I'm working towards, and then a bridge team that I'm going to be looking to kind of build, right? Because right now my 2 current damage dealers I have actually 3. I have Aethel, Theodore, and Coldheart as my damage dealers, and that's why I'm struggling being able to, because I can't survive long enough to do more damage than those champions can do. So I need to switch to 3 support champions and 2 damage champions. And Aethel, I have to rotate Aethel out, right? And so now that I got Zargala, she brings in weaken, she brings in decreased defense, and then poison sensitivity and all the poisons from Theodore and his mechanic as well, kind of is going to be similar to what I have with Frozen Banshee and Fane right now on my main account. So I'm like, holy crap, this is so cool that I can see this, and maneuver through this account the way that I am, based on what I'm seeing, the champions that I have and the experience that I have. So it's really, it's a lot more fun to play on the challenge account over the last how many days we got now into the
We did
account.
some weeks in.
Right. So like I'm having the most fun on that account. Although on my main account, when we got this free gear removal and I re-geared everybody, that's when I was able to hit a 2 key on Nightmare. So now I got Sacred Shards on farm on that. So like subconsciously I'm like thinking just keep doing the Minotaur, and every single day you have a shot at Sacred Shards. And on that account, I'm not pulling all my shards as I get them, right? So I'm thinking just next 3-6 months, just keep finishing your 60s, keep doing all the masteries, and every day is a chance of getting a sacred. And maybe in 3 months or 6 months, you might have 10 or 12 or 15 sacreds that you can start pulling when you are ready to actually move on, because all my 60s will have full masteries. You know what I mean? All my 60s will be close to fully booked, or if not fully booked, or booked to a point where the masteries or the spells that I need fully booked are the ones that are fully booked, and the other ones that don't truly matter, right? So they're not, so they'll be booked enough, sort of thing, right? So, and then to have like 10 shards, sacreds, or so I'm kind of keeping my thing. I'm trying to remember, like, keep that kind of mindset. Like, it's mid game, let it just kind of do its work. You finally have a competent Nightmare team. You just let it do its work and just do your energy regen. And I'm having so much fun on the challenge account, and the luck has been unreal. Like, so that has been a massive factor to why I've had a lot of fun on that account. But and only these are the 2 accounts that I'm playing right now. So I put like my other 3 accounts to bed. So yeah, so I can totally relate what Cole Red is saying. So seeing that you've been playing for a lot longer than me and you use a ton of accounts, do you feel like you have felt this before in the past?
So to the experience of what Cole Red was saying, this is how I look at it, right? In the midst of understanding how this game work and how much time it takes to really progress, I would initially have to say I agree, because when I take away my time away from the game and I insinuate when I insinuate my time to put into the game of, I would say, throughout a couple of accounts, because I play more than one, right? Especially because I made 3 accounts added to my main account because I wanted to get the free champion for the fragments of the epic champion, and then finish that off, get to 50, so then I can open the next 3 slots so that I can get Kohan, right? That took a lot of my time. And even when the new login champions with the new 28 days worth came into play, that was even worse, because what I had to do was I had to log into those accounts. I wasn't playing in them. I was just logging in, collecting rewards and stuff, right? And then once I got to like the final day before you click over, I had to stop going into the account, because at that point I had to just sit back, wait, finish off the other accounts first, then go into those accounts, and then rush right through them to hurry up and finish those, and then go to the next one. So that was the strategy I had to do, because I wasn't going to be able to go through all of them and just get 75 points. So yeah, it was very much so a pain, but not to like the degree like it was like overwhelming. It was just part of the progression that I just had to just do. And of course, yeah, it does take time to really build those. But did I have found fun in them? Yes, because here's my thing though, right? Especially when it comes to new account, because when I pulled on those accounts, I got champions that I never had. So one of my accounts, I got Tomb Lord, which is a Lego, and then I got a Martyr, which is the legendary counterattack champion. So I got those 2 good champions on one account. Then on another account that I have, I've been pulling crazy, because I got the Thor, I got freaking Armands, some crazy pulls on those, right? So I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, what's going on here? So I'm like, hey, like
For the
granted,
variety.
yeah. So I'm gonna give away these accounts anyways, right? Because I built these to just do this, but then eventually I was gonna give them away anyways. So I didn't want to keep these. I'm just using them to get the referrals so I can get the free gifts and also get the rewards while opening up the next 50 the next 3 slots. But ultimately, if I were to sit back and look at it again, I would have never did 3 accounts straight up. I would have just did one and just wait it out and build. But yeah, it is definitely a hassle to play multiple accounts, so you won't find the fun in them, right? Because I had to learn this even though too, because right now, what I do on a daily basis with my other accounts, I've usually strip away a lot of time from the other ones and mostly focus on my main account, maybe even on my second account. When it's CBC, then it's like, okay, I will drop almost all the accounts except for 3 accounts to do CBC. So that's the challenge account, the main account, and then my second account, and that's it. The other accounts, they're not they're in a clan, but I have them on a separate thing. But they don't have to worry about CBC or none of that. I'm just logging in and just getting the rewards. So I don't have no hassle over there. So I had to switch up the mode how I do things. But overall, yeah, the game does become a hassle if you have to do more than one. It does. How's it going, MJ?
Yo, MJ. So yeah, like when and it's so easy to turn this game into, even if you just have one account actually, to turn it into a full-time, feeling like a full-time game or full-time job. And I think that's where he is deriving that feeling of like, am I having any fun? Because he was like, he was talking about doing the challenge account, right? And when you're competing, you're kind of overdoing it, right? And you're putting a lot more effort in. You're doing a lot more theory crafting, as well as hours spent not only just on the computer as well as on your phone. And when you're stuck at the grocery store following the missus around, you know what I mean? And when you're at a doctor's appointment and you're sitting in you're finding every opportunity to jump on the account. And so it kind of like drains you to the point where then when you jump on that second account or whatnot, yeah, you're just going through the motions and it kind of doesn't feel like much fun at all. But like maybe it might be more of a sentiment for those players in the late mid game or late game or end game, because like he said, he's got solutions for literally every aspect of the game now, right? So he's pulled all the champions and he can just go into his presets and he can literally just click one and he knows what it's going to produce without even thinking about it. It's just click, 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 and he can get through everything done that he needs to do daily. And it's very robotic, right? And so all the thinking, all the fun is gone. But for me, like, only because I have multiple accounts and I go a little bit overboard. Like I have multiple League of Legends account. I have multiple Valorant accounts. You know what I mean? I have, a couple Steam accounts. So I have duplicates of games and stuff like that. So then I don't know. I just like jumping from account to account. Sometimes it's a rank thing. So, being able to jump into play with not as much pressure as you were on your main account sort of thing. So that's where I've kind of accelerated and gotten to the point where I can kind of get a taste of that feeling of like, is this even fun anymore? You're waking up and it's like, I got about 2.5 hours of just account maintenance to go through before I can just get through my day, plan my breakfast. Or when you're in like challenge mode, like Hell Hades challenge, or if you've just that kind of mindset person, you know what I mean? If you go for too long like that, yeah, I could see eventually getting to the wall and you're burnt out and being like, yeah, this ain't fun no more, even though I'm progressing, right? And so I can totally relate to what he's saying. I don't know if new players or people in that, maybe people go just because I hear and I've watched a couple videos about the mid game because I wanted to learn as much as I could as I was transitioning into it, so I didn't leave anything behind. And that's the one thing that I've noticed a common topic or conversation that's had is it's difficult for the first time player to transition from the early game to the mid game because the change of pace is so different. The progress slows down so fast and the game is just slow in comparison to the early game. And it's hard to kind of switch into that mode that you have to be in for more patient, more deliberate, more methodical for the mid game. So I could see some people being like not having fun when they realize that they're having a hard time transitioning into that. Outside of that, I feel like maybe only late game players or end game players might feel like that, or people that are just hardcore degenerates like me that have multiple accounts for no reason. And then it's just more like you have reasons why you have multiple runs. I'm just doing it for testing experience. You know what I mean? Like,
well,
there's no real
that's the other side. That's the other side of the fun,
account.
right? Is like when you get the next account, there's a chance that you're gonna have champions that you don't even have on your main account to experience. So that's pretty much the main thing. Like, that's another add-on, because again, on another account, I've literally got a Mortar and a Tomb Lord I don't even have on my main account. And then on another account, I got Thor and freaking Armons I get to have fun with. Like, and then on my other account that I actually own and will be keeping, I got Harima, I got Grand Oak Padre. I mean, come on. So,
the variety for you is what keeps you entertained, because every single account is just a different puzzle. It's a different flavor. It's a different combination of RNG factors and luck and just your own making that make that account uniquely fun compared to the second account, compared to the third, et cetera, et cetera. And knowing that you're going to give away the majority of these kind of helps not totally invest and just have fun with the variety and the different champions that you don't get to experience like on the actual account that you're going to keep, right? So yeah, I see. So yeah, so I get that for sure. Because I have that one account where I have really awesome pulls like Freya and Miscreated Monster and Volgoth and just like a bunch of like really, really good champions that just I haven't even gotten around to playing that account yet. I think I only have 260s out of all those counts. Like, I'm still really heavy in the early game on that account, but it's one of the accounts that I put to bed, right? So yeah. It's an interesting video.
Yeah. I mean, well, one thing I'm gonna say just to close it out, because I do have to go. My computer's acting a little iffy. I gotta reset it.
No doubt.
Yeah. So, but just to add as final thoughts to this topic is, because the other thing too, like as far as you saying, like, certain gamers, feeling like they're getting tied up or they're not finding the fun. So I'll say this, right? So some of my teammates, right, that I eventually found or talked to amongst the time that were looking for help. Because one of the teammates I had, he was looking for help because he didn't know how to really navigate raid that much. And I told him, hey, look, let's come around and talk. I'll help him out. The moment he had certain champions, I say, hey, look, that's a great champion. Work that up. And he was starting to work it up, and he was starting to do good. And when he got the next one, I'm like, hey, work this champion, get this type of gear, or, get this type of setup done and boost that up. And they constantly keep finding growth. So they start to get more better. So it's like, that's another thing too, right? And the biggest crux of this game is knowing what champion is good or not. Because you can look at a new champion and then be like, God forbid if you invest in the wrong champion and someone tells you, oh, you wasted time. And then you're like, wait, what? I'm like, you didn't waste time ultimately, but you damn sure wasted resources. You could have did something better. And I'm like, well, this champion's actually better. Really? I didn't think he was. Yeah, he's actually better. I'm like, oh man. So sometimes those shortcomings will be the pain that really punch you in the face. And I would know because I saw those pains, right? I saw those pains early on. Because when I actually took the time to research and look and evaluate, and I was like, okay, I took all the research and I was like, this is trash, this is good, this is trash, this is good. All the trash, I started working them up. And then I'm like, okay, use them for food. Boom. Now I start getting better. Then I got better champions. Things start to progress more better. I start having a little bit more fun. I start being a little bit more happy about it. And same thing from other guys. It's like, because I know one guy that I know when he returned back to the game, he was trying to find help amongst him and his girl because they both play the game, right? But no one really could have helped him. No one could have given him advice that he needed to get. But when he asked and I said, hey, I would love to help you with what you need, and helped him out, this and that, he started to realize, I started looking at his account, help him out. And I'm like, damn, you got a lot of good champions, but you have the wrong gear on. and I had to rework gear and everything. And now he's starting to do some massive things, and now he's having
That's
fun.
awesome.
He's he's going in, he's going crazy, he's competing in these events and everything, and he's just smashing it up. So he got his first mythical like the past few months ago.
Ooh,
Yeah, he got Frog.
okay.
He got Frog. So
That's
he's
sick,
so he's using an unkillable
Right.
team with him through built a build with him and everything. And then it's like, and he is constantly keeping him alive in Demon Lord because of hitting and then that resetting and rebalancing healing while
Okay.
also being unkillable. So it's like that is just massive, right? Fully got him booked out and everything. So he's doing a lot of big things right now on his account. Both of them are, because both of my two guys I was talking about, they both end up getting Frogny, and they're both using him as an unkillable leader just to help in Demon Lord so they can, got maximized points. So yeah, it's just like, hey, look, sometimes, the biggest pain point is knowing what champion is good. And the second thing is ultimately knowing who to invest in the right thing there. Because at the wrong time, at the wrong place, you could be investing in someone that might be good, but they may not be useful for where you're trying to progressively upgrade it. So yeah, it was just one of those things.
I got two of those mistakes.
Yeah,
right now.
but that's just one of the many like pain points. Like one thing, because like I was even say this, right? Because even when I was talking about the process of even growing the next 60, one of the many things I realized too in this game is you need a lot of different affinities, right? And it's like you just can't upgrade just one. Like you need multiple. So it's like, like one of the things I try to tell my guy and even some of my other teammates is, if you're gonna up, like usually I always say this because he always keep upgrading so much champions so fast. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me just set you up with 4 champions. So look, Legos, you have about this in each affinity. So here's one of this affinity. Here's one of this affinity. Here's one of this affinity. Work that. Okay, epics. Work this in this affinity. Rares. Work this in this affinity. Go for it. So because the more you have a slot for each different affinity is better. Because like even in early game, most champions you have early on are just magic. But God forbid you get to brutal and then you get to that freaking boss at stage 11 and he's forced and you're just constantly going, rinse and repeat, trying to beat him up. And then he does the impossible, he beats you, and then you're like, oh, here we go again.
I've been there.
And it's like,
so many times.
It's such a pain. It's like, Lord have mercy. You're just trying to beat this and get out the way. Just go to the next stage so then you can complete that and then get all your stars. Nope. They ain't gonna let you go through. So it's like, man, look, it's just a pain. So, having different affinities really do help. And that's another thing too, is like, it's not just leveling up the next best role, but it's also leveling up the next best affinity champion within the set. So it's like, if you have a legendary within every affinity, great, do that. If you have a epic in every affinity, do that. If you have a rare in an affinity, do that. It's like take one affinity of each and think to yourself, what is the best champion in this affinity that I should upgrade right now at this moment? And then upgrade it and work it out. And then
your first base roster. Yeah,
because that's how I looked at it. I was like, okay.
The worst is weak hitting or just getting too much, taking way more damage than you should be taking because you have the opposite affinity champions, because those are the only ones that you valued. I totally get that because I always ignore affinity. So that's actually a really good piece of advice that I'm gonna start applying to my stuff.
Because every dungeon or every other area, there's always an affinity somewhere, right? So if you're getting Dragon Force, you want it mostly Spirit affinity. But if you can't work it out, then there's going to be some magic or an equal balance of force there somewhere in the rotation go. But if you can't go through it, then you're stuck there. So it's like, a lot of that stuff goes and contribute for that. So it's a lot of stuff that you have to work around. That's why it's sort of tough. But like even when it comes to like certain parts of like because this is gonna be the final word before we leave out. But I know a lot of people say like, a lot of newer players are struggling just to even grow. But it's like there's a point where you look at where you are in the level of the bosses. Like let's say if it's like, okay, you're at the boss, like most people say, okay, get to stage 10 at the bare minimum, right? Get to stage 10, right? Because at that point, 5-stars tend to drop more frequently around that point, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why I'll sit here and say, like, look, if you do the multi-runs, just cut off the 4-star and just go straight for 5s and then just keep farming. Just let it farm the 5-stars for you so you can work out of the 4-stars and then go into 5-stars so that it can help you to push further. Because literally that's what I had to start doing. And that's what got me further down, because that's what got me down to 20, stage 20 in Dragons. The only thing is now is because so much time it takes, and I don't have enough crit damage amongst my team to really pound it a little bit more faster. I tend to like use, I didn't do the more upper level, I mean like the more lower level tiers that has 4 to 6, and then just trying to get the 5s and 6 stars from there. But if I have to, then I might just do the 20 and then just be like, just go right there, so I don't have to waste my time cutting out and just go through there in the cycle. So, you know, those things, they're just ways around it that you just have to figure out. But like even with the game itself, the biggest thing is, when do you consider even caring about farming for gear, or just saying, forget this, I'm not farming for gear no more, I'm just really farming for the silver? And you know, that's just the hype. Is like, there's so much things you have to do in this game, get gear, do this or everything else. It's like you have to figure out a science in a moment within the science to figure out when it's just the appropriate time to do one thing or focus on one thing, and then be like, come back and do something else. And it, you know, that's just a punch in the face, because literally, like, you look at some of these dungeons and you'd be like, you're not getting nothing else as a reward. So like, why can't this dungeon just give you more silver?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And that's
Silver's, we use it everywhere, and it can hinder you for so many different things.
right.
You know.
So,
No, I hear you, man. But yeah, that's kind of ties it back to the whole about maneuvering raid and understanding. You have to kind of bring your knowledge up and your experience up to be able to maneuver more efficiently, and that just comes through playing the game. And that's why, you know, maneuvering is when it's a really fundamental thing when you first start playing the game, or to when you have been playing for a long time. It's always going to be a part of the game. It's part of the resource management, and it is actually half the fun, you know, figuring out how to get through these things without having the fully right built champions, or, you know, with what you have, right? So that's, you know, and then that's where the fun comes from. So the tie it all into the reaction too, right? So the whole you know, theme to the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed you know, us ranting and reacting and talking about all things raid on our 4th podcast here. And any final last things before we, other than like and subscribe, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment. Let us know what kind of topics you'd like to hear us talk or discuss in general. That way we can, you know, try to add it to the agenda for an upcoming podcast.
right. But yeah, but stay tuned, guys. We're gonna try to get this back on the road. Other than that, I mean, stay tuned to the next episode, and of course, stay tuned to what we do as far as our recordings when we record the account. Definitely, I'm gonna be eventually converting the lives into like just mini videos as far as the progression going on in, because of course the you know, there's not enough of a crowd to really watch a live, so it's like, all right, let me just look at what I just did and just reimburse it, rehash it, and then just go from
Recap
there.
in this story, a little story or a little fun video about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, because it's just
Awesome,
more
guys.
that way. Yeah.
For
But thank
sure.
you guys. See you guys next time. Peace out.
Later, guys. Take care.